Welcome. Happy Metta Monday, even though it is Tuesday that I'm posting this. Welcome. I hope that you are well. I hope that you are feeling good on your journey as we are in the first Tuesday of the year. Yesterday was the first Monday of the year. And I come to you with a lot of joy and openness and gratitude and some insight that I just want to be able to share with you. If you watched the last Metta Monday episode, thank you. I see you. That was much longer than I had hoped that it was going to be. There was a lot that I wanted to be able to share with you that ended up being an hour episode. And my goal with Metta is to always be able to deliver the message, the insight, whatever you want to call it, in 20, 30 minutes so that you can be well on your day and not spend too much time probing at this, picking this apart with me. So thank you if you watched that last episode. Thank you for watching this episode now. I have plenty to share with you, so I guess let's go ahead and just dive in. I want to start by, hold on. Let's just go ahead and breathe in, take a breath into the nose, out the mouth, in the nose, out the mouth, in the nose. Lift up and fill up with more air. Maybe pull the shoulders back, chest forward. Empty out. Exhale. I did that for me so that I could be more grounded. I could tell that I am excited right now, and sometimes when I get excited, I can talk really fast. So I just wanted to take some time to slow down. I hope that was able to benefit you. And if it didn't benefit you, I hope that you just pressed that little arrow on the right that speeds this up 10 seconds. So here we go. I want to dive right in. Lots to share with you for the beginning of the year and this first Metta of 2025. Many things to share. And I want to start by sharing something with you that somebody sent me on Instagram. And after I read you the full thing, I'll let you know who sent it to me. So once it was shared with me, I shared it with a lot of my friends, and there was a lot of different feedback, a lot of beautiful feedback, especially because I told them who sent it to me. So I'm going to read it first. And it is a post that Dr. Heidi Green posted on her Instagram. I will read out her handle for you just in case you want to follow her. The post said, "Things that can be true at the same time." So, two things that can exist in the same space. Your parents did the best they could, and their choices wounded you. You love someone, and you know it's not healthy to keep them in your life. You're terrified to take the next step, and you know it's the right thing to do. You want to have healthy relationships, and unresolved trauma is making it difficult. Ooh, that one. You're afraid to fail, and you believe in yourself. So one more time through. And I'm not going to say anything really after these other than just like what they are so that you can take them and run with them and let them be what they mean to you. So, one time again, things that can be true at the same time. Your parents did the best they could, and their choices wounded you. You love someone, and you know it's not healthy to keep them in your life. You're terrified to take the next step, and you know it's the right thing to do. You want to have healthy relationships, and unresolved trauma is making it difficult. You're afraid to fail, and you believe in yourself. So I just want to take a moment, inhale, exhale. Receive another moment with yourself, with those words, whatever they meant to you. Inhale, breathe goodness in. Exhale, let something go. So that was by Dr. Heidi Green on Instagram. She is DRHEIDI Green. And that was reposted by Your Soul's Toolbox. Your, YOURSOULSTOOL box. I will put those at the bottom in the description of this episode if you didn't catch that and you don't want to play it back again. But just in case you are cleaning out who you follow and want to be more mindful of bringing more aligned people into what you are scrolling on your social media. I know that's a part of some resolutions that I've been hearing recently, to clean out your social media, what you follow, what you need to unfollow. So a couple cool things to follow. Some people who are, really deep thinking and opening, expanding their consciousness and their awareness, just as you are. Because you are watching this episode, I know that you are doing some type of work within you. Oh, so who sent that to me? My mother, my mom. My mom sent me that. And as I know you recognized, and maybe it landed in your heart a specific way, the first sentence said, your parents did the best they could, and their choices wounded you. And my mom sent that to me. And I'll dive into more about my relationship with my mom. That's my bestie. If you know me personally, you know my mom is my rock, my number one. That's my girl. And I love you, Mom. At some point, maybe I'll bring my mom onto an episode and we'll talk more about mother-daughter relationships, women relationships, and growing relationships, because my mom and I didn't always see eye to eye. And I'm sure maybe you have the same experience yourself, but we'll dive into that at a later time. I'm going to parking lot it for us. I won't forget, promise you. The way I ended the last episode was, what did you become familiar with in 2024? And, whatever that meant to you, but just in case you missed it, just some inquiry to begin the episode and wrapping up the last episode. What did you become familiar with in 2024? And as you are revisiting your New Year's resolutions, everybody feels their own way about this. And as you are making goals, I invite you to just inquire, what did you become familiar with in 2024 that maybe you want to bring into 2025? Or maybe you want to make sure it doesn't follow you. So while you sit with that, I'll just segue into the first topic. And kind of growing off of that, my partner and I decided to host a bonfire on the first Saturday of the year, so January 4th, with our friends. Some usual people that join us for these bonfires came, and some new, fresh faces came. The point was for us to obviously gather in community, see one another, enjoy each other's presence. It was quite beautiful. We we decided to write down what we would like to call in to 2025 and what our intentions are for 2025 on a piece of paper and take that with us. On another paper, we decided to write down limiting beliefs or something that is between you and that goal. And those things are the same thing. Maybe that limiting belief is what you believe is also in between you and that thing that you want to accomplish or do or bring into your life. So we wrote down our ceiling, so to speak, and threw that into the fire and released and let that go. We also put onto paper what we deeply desire, what we want so bad, what we crave, what we're craving, what we're striving for. Wrote that down on paper. And we burned it, threw that in the fire to be able to practice being unattached to that thing that we deeply desire. And so that we could have a more hands open approach to the thing that we want so badly and not be so attached to it as we want it so badly and not white knuckle grip it so tight. There's no space in these fists that are gripping so tight. There's no space for that thing that you want so deeply. So we held it with open hands, unattached, and trusting that that deep desire will come. And so I hold a lot of gratitude and thanks for those who came, those who did it in spirit. And in case you want to practice this, wanted to be able to share it with you and maybe bring it to your friend circle or do it intimately with yourself. So just a couple of self-care practices, some inward practices, keeping that introspection really rolling into this hibernation season. Just because the year is over doesn't mean that we're coming out of hibernation just yet. We're still looking inward, still going inward, still cultivating and building up that observer space in your mind, that witnessing in your mind. We're still honing into what is in here, what is within. What is alive when you turn inward and shut off everything that is around you? What is going on the inside? So just a couple of practices to offer to you. I hope that they benefit you. And I hope that if you don't like them at all and you just don't want to do it, you feel perfectly fine with not doing it at all. So I took part and felt really good about it. I actually had like a little chip on my shoulder or whatever about taking part in doing this practice, writing down that limiting belief, seeing it on paper and being like, forget you, like I'm letting you go. And writing down this intention and feeling empowered, embodied even about being like, okay, this is what I want. This is what I'm manifesting for myself. This is what I'm calling in. I'll take this paper with me. And then writing down my deepest desire, and maybe some of those things correlated. And also understanding, okay, I trust that this stuff either already exists or is on the path. And I am willing to see it on paper, written by me, acknowledged, and also watch myself ball this paper up and release it into the fire and not be attached to it and just trust that it actually exists right now or it exists in the future. So, I'm feeling all good. I'm seeing my friends. We're by the fire. We're playing games, laughing. indulging in the joy of community and feeling good. We hadn't seen each other in a while. Some people that came, I hadn't seen them since me and my partner's wedding. So it was nice to reconnect. And some people that came live right down the street and we hadn't seen since October, maybe even September because of the holiday season. So it was beautiful to connect and I felt good. So that was Saturday evening. Sunday morning rolls around and I have a pretty sturdy Sunday practice that I've built into my life where I take lots of time for me to receive. And I kind of woke up on the wrong side of the bed a little bit. I mean, it felt good, but it just it felt odd. We were up late that evening visiting with friends, of course. And then I kind of rolled out of bed. It was a little bit late. The dogs let us sleep in. And I really couldn't shake that yawn. I was pretty tired and went to a meeting for one of the gym spaces that I teach yoga at and felt good to see my coworkers and stuff, but it still felt like I was a bit tired and having a hard time rising. And so I took my time after the meeting to do my own practice, move in my body, and just kind of feel around to how everything was showing up for me and take inventory of my body and breathe and really move what's been going on in this shoulder. As I've mentioned to y'all, there is a lot of opening happening on this side of my body, and I'm very thankful. I'm really wondering about it because we're on the other end of the holidays and all of a sudden it's clearing up. And that's also a pattern of what happened last year and the year previous. So I'm wondering how that might be tied to the holidays. I will speak about this more later, but to my point, I was able to move around. I felt really good in my body. So it felt like I was checking off that little list of self-care and feeling good about it. So I roll home, I get here, and for whatever reason, I got on social media and I was scrolling and I was looking at a variety of different things. I use social media to research. I use social media to laugh. I use social media to learn. I use social media to expand. I follow people who are doing the same thing that I do. I call these people expanders, people that are doing the things that you do or the things that you want to do. The issue with following people that are doing the things that you want to do is that sometimes you can get caught up in your mind of thinking that you're not doing enough. And maybe I'm only speaking for myself, but my assumption is that a lot of us do this. A lot of us see things on social media that we want ourselves. And we're just like, well, why isn't that my life? Why isn't that what's happening, on this end of the phone? And that's a fair and valid thought, right? It's an emotion that comes up. It's a thought that comes up. And sometimes it takes a moment for that emotion or that thought to remain before it leaves. And so it was really present on Sunday. And my partner was at work. She took a break and she had come home and we made lunch and we were eating together and we were discussing quite a few topics just with the housekeeping of our relationship and things that we have coming up. And quickly I could tell with how I was answering her and how my communication was showing up was that I was a little disheartened. The embodiment was kind of, like this. It didn't really look like this. My throat felt really thick. My eyes felt really tight. Everything felt really stuck in this space. And it felt like I didn't really want to participate in talking with her about a few of the topics that had come up. because I just was lost for words. I was in my own mind. I wasn't really giving her any eye contact. I was looking down and kind of just like fiddling with my food, moving stuff around. And I felt, if I'm being absolutely honest, I felt unworthy, and I felt like I wasn't enough. I got very much wrapped into that limiting belief that literally maybe 12 hours previous, I wrote down onto a piece of paper and threw into the fire in this act of ritual and ceremony and tangible practice of letting something go. And I might have got caught up in that process thinking, oh, my hands are clean of it. It's gone. I'm good. 2025, let's get after it, right? My limiting belief was that there are other people doing what I want to do. Therefore, they've beat me to it. And I should just stop now and give up. If that resonates with you, I see you. I love you. That limiting belief is a ceiling. And sometimes you hit it because maybe it's a glass ceiling. You're just like, why can't I break through that? Acknowledging it and understanding that that's what it feels like when you see other people doing what you want to do or what you are striving to get to is really powerful. Acknowledging that is really powerful. And so my partner asked, hey, what's up? It feels like something's wrong. Are you okay? And for a moment, it did cross my mind. I was like, I'm just not even going to bring it up. Like, I'm not going to say anything. It's not worth talking about. But I said, instead, I decided to strip away that pride, whatever it is, of just not wanting to admit that you're playing small, that you're being really hard on yourself, myself, that I'm playing small. And I said, yeah, I got caught up on social media and I saw some people in the yoga world doing some stuff that I wish that I would have prepared for January. And I feel like I am behind in time. And I feel like I'm not organized. And I feel like I got beat to the punch. And I feel like that goal that I set, that intention that I set, I was just shooting for the stars. And it doesn't really feel like it's in reach. And that limiting belief has me gripped by the neck, and it's wringing me pretty dry right now. And she said, okay, what happened? Let's unpack that. You had a really great morning. What shifted quickly? I said, I got on social media and I was scrolling, and it revealed itself that I was comparing myself to other people. And it felt like what I am doing currently just isn't enough. And so, if that is you as well, if this happens to you as a fellow perfectionist, as a fellow type A personality, as an overachiever, even a people pleaser, even, or somebody who also struggles to find worthiness in just simply arriving and existing as you already are, and maybe your worthiness is still tied to producing and overworking, I just want to let you know and assure you, you're not alone. Everyone does this. And those thoughts that happen, that build, that cultivate, that make you feel really small and like everything is just way too big to conquer or accomplish, and you just continue to feel smaller and smaller, I want to assure you, you are not alone. Other people too are comparing themselves to what they see on their phone screen every day. Every day. And once we become aware of it, once I became aware of it, when I become aware of it, when it happens each time, I'm trying to meet myself with more grace, that it's just part of social media, it's part of programming, it's part of the journey, your journey, self awareness, being a little more accepting, loving, caring, and compassionate with yourself, who you are in this moment, as you show up, as you exist, doing your absolute best. It is part of this journey. And you're not alone. And you're doing the work. And keep going. So I believe in myself, and I'm afraid to fail. Both of those things can exist at the same exact time. So, that was kind of a lot to sit with, to chew on. And if you found yourself, like me, not even a full week into 2025, ready to throw that list of resolutions, that list of goals, that list of things for 2025 out the window, I see you, I hear you, you're not alone. If we want to throw it away, let's throw it away. Okay? If it feels like just another thing to be attached to, tied to, another expectation, I'm going to join you in letting that stuff go by simply trusting that the fact that we thought of it, the fact that we manifested it, it's just coming. And all that we have to do is continue to be ourselves, walk on that path, step into the things that are aligned most for us. And all of those things, those fruitful things that you want, are on their way. Right now, we're putting in the labor to bear that fruit. I guarantee it. If you don't believe yourself when you say that, take my word for it. We are putting in the labor to bear that fruit that is in the future, waiting for us to claim as we are walking into doing the labor. And that's it. That's it. That's all that we have that's all that is there for us to trust. And it's hard, the waiting game, being patient for that fruit. I want the fruit. Being patient for it is the journey. The labor is the journey. And sometimes when I make it to the fruit, I'm like, another thing to do, another goal to make, another place to strive for. And it occurs to me, I put so much into thinking about the fruit and the results and the goal and what I want, that somewhere along the way, I missed where the magic is at. And that is the journey itself. That's the good stuff. That's the meat and potatoes of this path that we're walking, whatever your path is. That's the good stuff. That is what we look back on and be like, I worked hard for this fruit. What? Did y'all see? What? Did I just do that? I can't believe I walked X amount of days so that I could run a mile without taking a break. I can't believe that I watered this plant for a month straight and now I'm seeing an inch, 2 inches of growth out of it, and it's beautiful. I can't believe that I put in all of that work, that effort, that time, and now this beautiful result is here and it exists and it's beautiful. So all of that to say, can we trust the journey, and can we truly step into knowing that, yes, we're entitled to that fruit, but we're also entitled to the journey. We are entitled to the labor. And boy, is the labor that much more beautiful when we sit in the present moment with it to enjoy what is on the journey. So, I want to add that the shame storm that I had on Sunday between now Tuesday, right now in this moment, a lot of work happened in between to be able to express myself in this way to you, which is why Metta Monday is being filmed on Tuesday after Monday. I had to show up for myself because I found myself in a shit storm on Sunday. It was shame. My partner saw me in that shame, in that disbelief, in that, I don't know, in a space where I was ready to give up. I hadn't even put in the work yet, and I was ready to give it up because I saw other people with my fruit. And I sat down and I was like, Sydney, honey, I have no idea what that labor was for that fruit that they're posting. They weren't posting the labor. And that's the other thing with social media. Sometimes people are only posting their fruit, and that's also okay. But not everybody posts the journey. And that's where things get mixed up in the mind. That's where the reality kind of shifts, and where we have to find some alignment of being like, oh, I don't know what they did to get that fruit, but what beautiful fruit they have. I am so proud of them. I celebrate them. I'm going to celebrate them by hearting this, liking this, commenting, and being like, that's so beautiful, friend. I hope that multiplies for you. Congratulations. Sending that compassion out and then turning back inward and expanding in your own compassion to be like, okay, I too can bear fruit. And in order for me to bear that fruit, it's going to come with some labor and some work. And you know what? I'm excited for that journey. Instead of, closing up the social media, putting the phone down and being like, wow, that was so great to see their fruit. Where's my fruit at? Because that's probably what my initial reaction was embodying. It was kind of like, wow, they got the fruit I wanted. That was supposed to be my fruit. I guess no fruit for Sydney because I'm not enough. I'm never enough. I'll never be able to have fruit like them. And it's just not true. Those initial thoughts are not true to reality. That's just thoughts that generate in the mind. And in order to get all of that out of the way, my partner and I, once she got off of work, we stuck to our original plans of going to a practice of a good friend of mine that I have met in my 300-hour course, which I graduate this weekend. That's crazy. I'll start talking more about my yoga teacher training journey with Practice Yoga Austin and sharing that with you in more detail once I'm on the other end of graduation. But we went to a good friend of mine. Her name is Kristen. She is in the 300 hour with me in my cohort at Practice Yoga Austin, and she was teaching for our practicum for graduation. She did a beautiful offering this past weekend on Saturday and on Sunday. My partner and I planned to go to her Sunday class. She happened to be teaching yin tuition, is what she called it. And it was like way too aligned. It's crazy how divine timing can be when you are making it to aligned spaces that truly serve your true identity, which we'll talk more about that. That is on the schedule to talk about. That has been parking lotted for you. But it was crazy how this unfolded. I needed it. It was on time. Thank you so much, Kristen. I'm thankful that your learning journey has crossed paths with something that my soul truly needed. And we talked about Ganesh and how Ganesh is the deity of being the waymaker. And when she said waymaker, that truly hit me. It hit my soul, and I just came undone. I began to cry because it had dawned onto me that that shame spiral that I had found myself in, there wasn't trust there. There wasn't. There was a lot of attachment still to the things that I deeply crave and want to call in. And there was a lot of gripping to that had no trust and understanding that as I arrive in these spaces that I am called to, that fruit will be on that path as I walk that path and find myself with the obstacles, find myself walking in clarity, that I'm going to step into that fruit. And she led a beautiful yin practice of if you don't if you're not like savvy with the yoga words, that's totally okay. This Metta Monday is not just for yogis. So I'll take some time. The practice of yin yoga is different poses, restorative poses that you're propped up by different props, blocks, blankets, and put into beautiful positions and holding them for about 5 to 7 minutes and finding yourself in a comfortable space so that you're not working the muscles, but you are deepening the fascia to open the fascia up, open the body up, and really breathe into spaces that might feel stuck, which, like I said earlier, everything felt really stuck. My breath was caught. Everything was just like tight, like when you're about to cry. I was coasting on that. And this yin practice had the ability, because Kristen delivered it so eloquently and I surrendered and was ready to receive, the yin peeled off that edge. It really did. And I needed to slow down. I'm learning this about myself. And when I talk to other people, I'm also hearing from other people that slowing down also truly helps them. Finding stillness truly helps them. And so I advise to you, if it's not part of your daily practice or weekly practice, monthly practice, to find time just resting, guiltless rest, shameless rest, find stillness. Even pencil it in on your calendar if that's what it takes, whatever it takes. This yin practice allowed me to breathe and let go and peel off all that rigidity, all of that lack of trust, all of that unworthiness, and truly surrender and let go and open my heart and trust my purpose and breathe. Really needed to just breathe and take off all of the pressure, all the expectation, all the high standards. It allowed me to do that. And I really needed to allow that. And so thank you, Kristen. On Instagram, her handle is Cinders Receive, Senders Receive. If you want to follow another person who is just pushing out just loving kindness, realness, honesty, and beauty out into the world, if you want to follow her on Instagram, I'll also put her handle into the description for you. So I went to that practice and we started the practice by journaling. If you don't have a journal and you want to explore journaling, and it doesn't have to be like creative writing, she had said, jot anything down that feels busy in your mind. We took time putting whatever we arrived with, maybe something we were over intellectualizing, something we were overthinking, and wow, I think I wrote 3 pages when we entered, and it was like 10 minutes. And there's a lot of magic between the pen and the paper. So there's a lot of magic that happens between the pen and the paper whenever you're intentional and slow and having that intimacy with yourself to explore. So I highly recommend sitting with the pen and the paper. Did that, received the yin, finished the practice by writing more down, and the tone was different. There was more clarity. There was more openness. There was more acceptance there. And I just needed to be still. I just needed to take care of my body and get my body and my mind onto the same page by being more slow and doing less doing, less trying, and just showing up and existing as I already was. So I went to that practice on Sunday evening, and then Monday morning woke up extremely early and went to a Monday morning 6 a.m. practice over at YTX in Austin. Got my 6 a.m. fix, and Brooke Gilliard, I think that's how you say her last name, she spoke of fruit and the labor in which you bear that fruit. And I was just like, oh my gosh, the messages that are coming to me through yoga right now are so what I need. And yoga is not just for the body. Yoga is not just about fitness. Yoga is not about fitness. Obviously, the way I just said that, that is a parking lotted topic for us to dive into. But yoga showed up for me Sunday evening, Monday morning, and I said, you know what? I feel good. That practice projected me into my day, transcended me into my day, allowed me to show up to do my practicum for the 500 hour this weekend. And I felt like I had not a chip on my shoulder anymore, but ability in my body. I had resilience. I had the audacity to be great, honestly. And not just because I was supposed to write a resolution down because it was the end of the year and I was entering a new year. It felt authentic. It felt real. It felt vulnerable and true. So I said, okay, you know what? How can we take this a step further? I planned on filming Metta yesterday, but right when I got to a space of sitting down and getting ready to chat with you, I realized that Laura DeBolt, Laura Joy, over at Practice Yoga Austin. Oh my God, if you are in the yoga world and you don't know who Laura is, baby, in the yoga world in Austin, and you don't know who Laura is, I suggest that you drop into her class, most specifically her Metta Monday class. We both have Monday offerings that involve loving compassion. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to Laura's class. Laura's last yoga offering before leading our 300 hour this weekend for our graduation weekend. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go and feel what her loving compassion, meditation driven practice feels like in my body. And so I could talk about it and tell you about it. Laura Joy is the leader of the 300 hour, I would like to say the leader of the 300 hour at Practice Yoga Austin. Laura also co-led the 200 hour training that I did right before diving into the 300. Laura also is one of the reasons that I said, okay, I'm going to do a yoga teacher training. So it only felt right to go to her Monday evening Practice Yoga Austin class and receive in that space. And as soon as the class began and she began to cue the yoga, I just came undone on the mat. And her loving voice hit my nervous system. And in that moment, my body remembered my intention of sharing yoga. It remembered my purpose. It remembered the feeling that I felt when I got onto the mat, when I went to her, the first class I ever went to with Laura. And I was like, this is what made me make this decision, because I felt autonomy and agency to not only make a decision that's good for me, but make a decision I am proud of and live it. And that's what I needed to be reminded of, that I am able to make decisions, that I am enough, that I am worthy just as I am. So my point is to tell you, do the things that you know feel good. Fill up your cup. Learn and have an intimate relationship with yourself so deeply that you know what's in your toolbox when you need to make it back to gratitude because all you're feeling is shame and you're falling into comparison culture. Know what is in that toolbox and what feeds your soul, what helps you get back to gratitude. Her practice helped me get back to gratitude. And after the class, I asked Laura if she would come and do an episode for you and talk about loving compassion with you, with me, for you. And so have some beautiful things coming your way. I cannot wait for you to receive the beautiful wisdom, the beautiful intellect, the beautiful heart of what is Laura Joy. And I feel excited for what is to come, for that conversation, and for you to be a part of it. So I want to just go ahead and wrap this up. I assume it's probably been another hour, like the last episode. I apologize. I keep saying I don't want to take up much of your time, but I really don't. But I also want to say, like, you deserve this time. You're doing the work, you're showing up, you pressed play, and maybe there isn't anybody in your life that is sharing insight with you in real time with true, honest, real tribulations and obstacles that come up in the mind and that come up in emotions. And we all deserve that. And if you're coming to Metta Monday to get that, I am thankful. I have so much gratitude for you. I am filled with so much gratitude to share this space with you and to be part of what is filling your cup. So be easy with yourself. Try softer. I've been hearing that in yoga lately. Let's try softer together. And let's also, whenever you're showing up in conversations, I want to acknowledge that whenever people are asking you, oh, how are you? What are you doing? This is that. Take trying out of your verbiage. I've been noticing that I'm like, oh yeah, I've been trying to X, Y, and Z. oh yeah, I've been trying really hard to make sure that I la 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 la. Let's just step back a second and change that verbiage up to say, oh, I'm doing this. Oh yeah, I'm doing this. And be proud when you're delivering that message, because you're doing way more than trying. You are absolutely doing. Trying makes it seem like there's an obstacle that's there and that you're just like, and maybe there is, but we can start telling the body, oh, I'm coming up to that obstacle. Every time that obstacle comes up, I'm still headstrong in going at it with full force, and I'm still arriving to it. I'm still building the audacity to meet that obstacle every time. So that's not trying. That is absolutely doing. And yes. So I'll end this with just something short and sweet. Go ahead and find a gentle seat on your sit bones, hands in your lap or on your knees, just where your hands can rest. And maybe you shut your eyes or soften your gaze, whatever feels best for you. I invite you to receive an inhale, lift up the heart space, shine it forward, hold the breath in, exhale, release and let something go. Inhale, sip in more air, release the jaw, unfurrow the eyebrows. Exhale slowly, empty all the way out. Inhale, breathe in through the nose. Sip in more air. Let the chest grow big and expand. Open the shoulders. Hold, hold, hold. Exhale, let it all go. Inhale, receive the breath. Swallow. Exhale, out the mouth. Inhale through the nose. A loving breath. Lock in that felt sense of joy and love for yourself as you hold. Allow the chest to grow forward. Exhale, let everything out. Last breath, inhale through the nose. Exhale, audible sigh. I'm going to just hold a moment of gratitude for your able body, your sound mind, and your compassionate heart. Namaste, and thank you for watching.